Hello everyone, this is part 4 of What If Naruto Was a Genius at Genjutsu, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
2 fucking months. Naruto thought, 2 months since he had become a genin and started the chores that every fresh genin did that were known as D-rank missions. The only thing that Kakashi had taught them was to work together as a team, and even then it was limited. Naruto felt that this team was made for short-term purposes rather than a long-term team such as Kurenai's or Asuma's team. He confided his thoughts in Kakashi only for them to be confirmed. Sasuke Uchiha had no one he could work with effectively from the graduation class, and as such Naruto was placed as a guard, so to speak. He was to protect Sasuke when they went out on missions and hopefully make up for the loss in teamwork. Naruto had other ideas though. He could see the darkness in the picture that was Sasuke Uchiha. He could see that the boy would do anything for power, and he hoped to God that he never found out how to gain the Mangekyo Sharingan or Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, because there would be hell to pay, mostly because he couldn't obtain the Eternal version due to the fact that Itachi wasn't really his brother. No. Naruto in his own mind was on this squad to prevent Sasuke from absconding the village for power when the time eventually came. He spoke to his brother about the fact that he could see this happening in the future, and Itachi agreed that his foolish cousin would eventually do something like that to gain power. They both hoped that he wouldn't, but what could they do? They had tried time and time again to work with and befriend Sasuke, even though it could cause problems down the line, but he had none of it. They were realists. Nothing had really happened in the last 2 months. Naruto upped his weights on both him and his resistance seal. He found out by trial and error that when the seal was disabled it was originally set to level 6, so he set it to level 7 and added 5 kilograms to each weight. Naruto followed his father in the speed department. He was a demon with speed for his age, and it would only get faster as his body grew. Naruto slowed on his Genjutsu training to focus more on Taijutsu and learning his new Kenjutsu style for his chakra sabers that his mother had made for him before her death. He had asked Mikoto what a Zu metal was, and she explained that it was a rare metal only found on the island where his mother's village was before it was destroyed. The metal itself is almost indestructible without chakra and can be enhanced with both normal type of chakra and elemental chakra such as futon. The style left to Naruto by his mother was a hidden style that was from Whirlpool Village before its downfall. People would kill for this style simply because no one knows much about it, and when you fight with such a style you would have an advantage in surprise. Not to mention Whirlpool was famous for its Kenjutsu styles amongst other things. It relied on speed like all his other styles, but there was a difference. This style used shallow, easy to make cuts and vital points on the body to make the enemy bleed out, so you can understand that when Naruto started to learn this he mostly used Kage Bushin to spar against, or his brothers Doton Bushin, since he was rather well versed in Anbu Kenjutsu. He had signed the summoning contract for the crows the night he passed his genin test, but had yet to summon anything other than the boss thanks to a little help from Hikari. Asterisk flashback 1 month ago asterisk asterisk. Hikari-chan, you awake? What do you want, Naruto? I was trying to sleep. Sorry, but I was wondering if you mind giving me a boost in chakra to summon the crow boss so I can get his approval. Sure, whatever, just don't die. I knew you worried about me, you warm my heart, Hikari-chan. She blatantly ignored the last comment from Naruto and sent some of her chakra into his system. Behind him was his mother and older brother with the Hokage. They all wanted to see this since they never knew that there was a crow contract. Naruto bit his left thumb whilst wiping the blood on his right palm before going through several hand seals at a fast pace and shouted, "Kuchio's no jutsu," after slamming his hand into the ground. What happened next was least expected. 3 giant puffs of smoke appeared. He had expected 1 summon to appear, not 3. It was a good thing that they were out at one of the furthest and largest training grounds in Konoha, or they would attract quite a crowd. All 3 puffs of smoke cleared to show 3 giant crows with Naruto on top of the middle one's head, which was slightly bigger than the other 2. WHO dares to summon the crow triplets. Bertram, Bertramus, and Bertrand. Ugh, that would be me. I guess I put too much chakra into that. The crows looked up on the head of the biggest of them, Bertram, and on his head was a small human. Who are you and how did you summon us? The crow summoning contract was left to me by my father in his will. I was to sign it when I made genin, and since I did, I signed it 2 weeks ago, but you 3 are the first crows I summoned. Us. Yep. You must have massive chakra to summon us. Thanks. Anyway, I would like to humbly ask to be allowed to summon the Crow clan since the contract was left to me. Also, my brother down below would like to sign it as well. Pass my test and I, the summon boss of the Crows, Bertram, shall allow it. Cool. What test? Look into my eyes and let me see your life through yours. Naruto looked into the eyes of the Crow and he felt like the Crow was gazing into his very soul. He felt the Crow shiver at the memories of his life. You could tell that he had passed the test before it had even begun if you knew Naruto. You pass. Naruto smiled a true smile. What did you do though? Simple. I looked into your very soul and saw the best and worst moments of your life and what you did or didn't do to deserve both. Have your brother sign the contract as per our agreement. If he is anything like you, then he will work well with us. A sudden puff of smoke beside Naruto and there was a small crow that looked just old enough to fly. This is my daughter Corbin. She is quite young and just learned how to fly recently. She shall be your familiar and be the easiest to summon of the crows. He nodded and they all disappeared, leaving Naruto to fall to the ground screaming until he was caught by Itachi, who was laughing at the crow's sense of humor. End flashback. He got to know Corbin quite well since she was his familiar with the crows and found that she didn't like being cooped up at home with the rest of the crows and liked to explore. He explained to her that he would soon be going on missions outside the village and would take her if she wanted. She happily agreed. She grew in strength every day. Naruto had her fly around Konoha several times to increase her wing strength. She of course complained every step of the way, but upon consulting her father he agreed that it was best for her to learn early because it would save her life one day. Naruto shown the crows his Shunshin variation and they were quite impressed to find he already knew one of the jutsu they taught their summoners. He asked what they meant and they explained that he accidentally recreated the variation of Shunshin that they teach their summoners. He was quite happy about that. Soon after he found out that the crows were more trap, ambush and genjutsu orientated summons. They had maybe 5 battle summons amongst the Crow clan and he had already summoned 3 of them. Needless to say that Naruto was happy being a crow summoner when they used genjutsu. Naruto asked Kakashi for a spar in Kenjutsu every now and then, just like his letters stated. Kakashi had a normal ninjato type of sword. Naruto found this strange. When asked where the White Fang was, Kakashi replied saying it was broken when he lost his teammate in the Third Great Shinobi War and he found no reason to have it fixed. Naruto disagreed with this and stated that if he saw no reason to have it fixed, was it because he had nothing worth protecting? How could you protect something without a weapon to help? Kakashi went on to tell him about the incident and how he lost his right eye before his teammate allowed him to transplant a Sharingan eye into his eye socket from his deceased teammate. Naruto came to the conclusion that the Sharingan eye and his father's White Fang blade were a reminder of bad times that he didn't want to relive. Naruto asked him if he could see his father's blade or what was left of it, and against his better judgment he allowed it. What he didn't notice, however, was Naruto had his Sharingan active the whole time to find out how to get to it since it was obviously well hidden. He had planned on getting it fixed himself and giving it back to him as a present. That was just over 3 weeks ago and he was due to pick it up later today. Right now he was currently with his team and he used the word team ever so loosely. They were waiting for Kakashi to appear at the training grounds and was due to appear any minute now. Sakura was still in her fangirl dress, which was pink. I mean, come the fuck on, pink. That's just as bad as neon orange that Naruto used to wear. Sasuke was in his white shorts with a dark blue high collar shirt with the Uchiha clan emblem on the back, meaning that he had passed the rite of passage from within the Uchiha clan of learning the C-ranked jutsu, Kaiten, Gokakyu no Jutsu. Naruto had swapped up his wardrobe after his mother moaning that he was still wearing the same thing for the last 8 years. Sadly, Itachi agreed and told him to get a new set of clothes. It was a sad day. He liked his old clothes. Now he wore black Anbu cargo trousers with a loose red belt that hung down at one side. He had foregone his normal t-shirt and chose to wear a dark orange, red hoodie that could be zipped up or left open. He tended to leave it open just to mess with people. To finish the look, he wore a necklace that his mother got for his last birthday. The necklace itself wasn't that extravagant, but it was well designed and well made by a personal jeweler in Stone Country. Like Sunids, it sat on an old-looking piece of rope, string made from thick leather with 3 crystals, and in between each crystal was 2 balls of smaller crystals holding the bigger ones in place. On the back of each crystal was an emblem of each clan he represented: Namikaze, Uzumaki and Uchiha. He couldn't wear any but the Uzumaki out in public yet, so Mikoto got him this so that he could still wear his clan emblems with pride. He wore his dual chakra sabers on different locations on his body. He had a triangle-shaped harness that allowed for ease of access when in battle. One saber was aligned horizontally ready to be drawn in reverse grip, whilst the second was aligned diagonally left ready to be drawn from the left side. Unfortunately for Naruto, this new look sort of got him quite a bit of attention from girls his age, and although he didn't mind the attention, he didn't want it and thanked the gods he knew Shunshin for difficult times. Fangirls, even he had them. Apparently they were something every Uchiha male had to deal with, even the part Uchiha apparently. It would be 10 minutes later when Kakashi appeared in a puff of smoke, and so began the shouting of Sakura and the lame excuse of Kakashi. Did she not learn? Kakashi would always be late. Mission time, let's go. Kakashi said tiredly. Truth be told, he was getting tired of listening to Sakura complain about D ranks and how Sasuke should automatically get better missions due to being the last Uchiha. It was times like this he thanked whatever merciful being that Naruto was placed on his squad. Arriving at the mission office in short time, they knocked at the door and walked in. Hello Team 7, here for a mission again. Hi Hokage-sama. Kakashi replied whilst trying to stop himself from crying due to D ranks even if he forced his genin to work for him. Let's see here. We have gardening, walking the Inuzuka dogs, delivering medical supplies to the hospital, or catching. Gigi, don't say Tora. Naruto interrupted pleadingly. The third Hokage got an evil gleam in his eye. Catching Tora it is then. He was about to hand over the mission scroll when he heard a loud girly scream and looked over to Sakura. Do you have something to say, genin? Yes. How dare you give us such lousy missions? Sasuke-kun is the last Uchiha. He needs tougher missions to progress in skills and strengths. Everyone rubbed their ears from the banshee-like scream, and the Hokage looked over to Kakashi with a raised eyebrow. Are they ready? Of course Kakashi knew what this meant. It wasn't, are they ready, as much as it was, is Sasuke and Sakura ready? Hi Hokage-sama, I believe this mission will do them good. The Hokage smiled. He knew Naruto was taking great self-restraint in cursing every being of his body for repeatedly giving him the capture Tora missions, but before he could assign him a mission, a hawk landed on the window with a scroll that had red tape. Red tape in the ninja world meant urgent. Quickly unraveling the scroll and reading, his face went through several emotions: surprise, anger, and finally revenge. Naruto was confused. Well team, you have an B ranked, maybe even a ranked mission now. Hokage-sama, are you sure? Kakashi asked. Yes. Team 8 was sent to Nami no Kuni with a bridge builder named Tazuna. Unfortunately he lied about the mission and they encountered several missing nin. The demon brothers were both killed by the genin team, but Kiba was hurt whilst Kurenai was forced to face Zabuza Momomaiki, more commonly known as the demon of the Bloody Mist Village. She survived barely by using a Genjutsu to be able to strike him down, but before she could kill him a fake hunter nin landed and took his body. She has several cuts and gashes on her body and is currently suffering chakra exhaustion. Your mission is to back up Team 8 until the bridge is complete, and if Gato arrives with bandits or something, assassinate the midget. Do you accept? The third Hokage was currently looking at Naruto, worrying about him. He knew how he felt about Kurenai and that could lead to trouble. Naruto was standing there with barely restrained fury. He was trying best not to release killing intent, and it was working to a degree that only Jonin and Up would feel the small amount he was releasing. His eyes hardened and they were morphing between his normal blue eyes and his red Sharingan, showing his rage. It was a good thing he was behind everyone else. We accept, Hokage-sama. Naruto stated in a serious voice. Meet at the gate in 1 hour. Naruto said before vanishing in a flock of crows, surprising the genin in the room. He didn't care at the moment about showing off. All this meant was he was angry. Aren't I supposed to give the orders? Kakashi asked, to no one in particularly. Leave him be, Kakashi, you know what he is thinking right now, watch him. Hi Hokage-sama, you hear Naruto 1 hour front gate. With Naruto. Naruto arrived home with haste. Car-san. He shouted. Mikoto was in the back garden and she heard her son shout, which meant he was rather angry. He never raised his voice unless someone annoyed him beyond his limits. She hurried through the house to the door to see her son with his Sharingan blazing. What's wrong? Team 8 was ambushed by Zabuza Momomaiki because the client lied about mission parameters. Kurenai is hurt and my team is going to back him up. Now she knew what was wrong. The woman he cared for was hurt and he could do nothing to help her at this moment in time. How are Itachi's eyes nowadays? She was caught off guard by the question. His eyesight is getting worse by the day due to the constant use of his Mangekyo. Why? When we get back we will do the transplant. I might need my Mangekyo in this mission, and if Zabuza dares hurt my friends I will make his life hell before he dies, he said with such venom. She nodded and left him to pack. 20 minutes later he came down with 3 scrolls in a holder on his left leg, presumably full with equipment. He hugged his mother and said goodbye whilst telling her he will be careful before shunshining to the Hokage's office for a quick word. Hello again Naruto, what can I do for you today? When Itachi gets back please take him off mission at the moment, we will need to do the transplant. So soon? Well, not for me. Itachi's eyes are getting worse because Anbu forces him to use them on tough missions to save his comrades. However, I will be using them this mission on purpose even if I don't need to, for the single reason to kill Zabuza Momomaiki. He will learn not to mess with people who I cherish. The Hokage nodded in understanding. He and Kurenai became quite close in the past years, and although they weren't dating it was only a matter of time, and everyone that knew them knew it. Naruto shunshined to the gate and waited on his team. Everyone except Sakura arrived on time, which was a change. She arrived 15 minutes late carrying a suitcase. Naruto had a tick mark above his eye showing how increasingly annoyed he was becoming. Sakura. Yes. What is in the suitcase? Oh, you know, clothes, makeup, shampoo, different sets of shoes and other things that aren't ninja related. Why? To look my best for Sasuke-kun, of course, you barker. Naruto was about to explode at this girl and she said something that pushed him over the edge. Of course a clan-less dobe like you wouldn't know anything about looking good for someone they loved. Kakashi inwardly cringed and waited for the shitstorm that was about to be unleashed. He knew Naruto well, and some things you just don't say around him, but this wasn't one of them. No, this was 2 months of built-up aggression raging to the surface about Sakura. Listen here, you pink-haired banshee of a fangirl. My friends and a woman I care about deeply are waiting to get help out there because a dick of a client lied about the mission, and here we are waiting for you to turn up only to be 15 fucking minutes late. And what for? Makeup. I swear to God, if they die because of your bullshit I will kill you in front of your family whilst torturing your banshee of a mother in front of you before your death. The last thing you will ever see of me smiling whilst I gut you. Do you understand me? At this point she was crying and currently backed against the gate, not sure what to do. Naruto threw her suitcase up in the air before shouting, Kaiten, Gokakyu no Jutsu, and breathing a fireball leaving nothing but ash of what was left. Let's move out, Kakashi said, hoping to ease the tension. They fell into line with Naruto after Kakashi and Sasuke smirking all the way after Naruto, with a scared Sakura crying about her stuff after Sasuke. It took about 4 hours for them to reach Wave, and it didn't do much to calm Naruto's rage. The town of Wave was a poverty-stricken place with children begging on the street. It reminded Naruto of his idiot mask from when he was younger. He sighed, let's find this Tazuna and get this done. I'm itching to fight a certain sword wielder. They found Tazuna's house half an hour later by asking in town. They were reluctant to tell, but after showing them their headbands and saying they were from Konoha to reinforce the team that was already here, they agreed rapidly. Knocking on the door, a woman in her late 20s opened. Hello. Hi, I'm Kakashi Hatake, Jonin Sensei for Squad 7. We are here to back up Squad 8. She smiled. Okay, they're in the living room. He nodded and walked in with his students following behind. They saw all 3 of the students resting on the couch floor with a Kamaru on Kiba's head. They all looked worse for wear. Kiba had a ripped jacket. Hinata had a small bit of blood on her arm, meaning she was hit by some small weapon, probably a senbon needle or something from the fake hunter, and Shino looked like he was suffering chakra exhaustion. Hello, where is Kurenai? Kakashi asked. They all pointed upstairs. Kakashi and Naruto walked up without their team due to Sakura and Sasuke not really caring. When they walked in the room, Naruto's feature automatically became hard and he was already visualizing ways he could kill this demon of the mist. Kurenai was laying down asleep, but her dress was ripped on the stomach and you could see clearly that there was a rather deep cut on the abdomen that wasn't healing right. Naruto sighed. He was going to do something really stupid. Kakashi, I'm going to scout the island and find Gato's base. I won't engage and report back to you. We both know I can do it without being spotted, and the team needs training. We need to know where they are and when they will attack. He reluctantly agreed. He knew Naruto's stealth was superb. Hell, he could probably steal the forbidden scroll from the Hokage's office without being caught and get halfway to Iwa without the Hokage knowing it was missing. Fine. No fighting though. I know how mad you are, but please don't do something stupid. Fine. Also, I have a gift for you. Call it insurance to my comrades' protection in the future. he said whilst taking a scroll from his pouch and giving it to Kakashi before walking out. Naruto walked down to the room and explained everything. Kurenai is out for at least half a week. Kakashi is going to train you and I'm going scouting as per orders, Yarne. He said before disappearing into a puff of smoke. Up in the room, Kakashi was opening the scroll and out popped something he thought he would never see again, his father's chakra saber, the white fang, fixed in its holster. He smiled, sneaky brat, and attached it to his back. Naruto appeared in a clearing and decided to consult his tenant about recent events. Hikari-chan, I presume you saw and heard everything and know what I want to do. Yes, and I must say I approve. It is a plan well though up in a little time. It's worth the mightiest of the Biju. She declared with a puffed out chest, well as much as a giant fox can. What plan? I'm going to find his base, kill them all and kill Zabuza and that fake hunter Nin. There isn't much of a plan. Exactly, I like it. Kick ass, take names and care about consequences later. He smiled, he knew she was doing this to cheer him up, you staying up to watch the fireworks. God yes. He smiled again whilst biting his thumb and going through hand seals, Kuchio's no jutsu, Kakasuhanta. A huge puff of smoke appeared. This was the group of crows known as the carcass trackers. They specialized in hunting a prey allowing others to kill it. They tracked the best of the best. 20 crows stood before him. Naruto-san, what do you need the Kakasuhunters for? Someone I hold very dear to me has been injured by a missing ninja named Zabuza Momomaiki. According to Kakashi-sensei he is about 6 square feet, wears cow leather trousers with a tank top and medical bandages around his mouth and lower half of his face. He has a sword almost as big as he and should be very adept in Sutan ninjutsu. I need to find him. The chances are he is near a big group of bandits since he is working for a local crime boss. Spread out and find him, then report back to me if you don't mind. We have never failed to find a target and we never will. We shall report back soon. The lead crow said whilst flying away. Naruto sighed before summoning Corbin. Corbin, we are currently outside the village and I'm on a mission. I would have summoned you earlier but things have happened that have caused my attention to slip. Feel free to fly around and be careful. I don't want your father trying to eat me because you got hurt or something. She nodded, well as much as a crow can nod, and flew off. She understood that whatever was going on was most likely nothing to do with her and left him alone to his thoughts. Half hour later the leader of the crows arrived back to give his report. Apparently this Gato person was stupid enough to live in the daimyo's mansion and didn't even try to hide. There were about 300 thugs in Gato's main base. He could handle that no problem, especially since he hadn't restricted him using the Mangekyo, although after this he would need some serious rest and relaxation, not to mention his eyesight would be significantly worse than it currently is. He was okay with that as long as he got to help this country and kill Zabuza for what he had done to Kurenai. It would be another hour and a half before all crows came back and explained that they found Zabuza and his little hunter Nin in a small cottage outside of the town that Gato owns resting. The hunter was taking care of him because apparently being put into a false death state fucks with the body. Who knew? It had been about 3 hours since he arrived in Wave and he wasn't tired at all due to his monster stamina from being a Jinchuriki, not to mention the fact that he had been resting in the same spot for the last 2.5 hours waiting for the crows to report. Thank you guys, you may go now. Sorry for calling you guys if you were busy. No problem Naruto-san, it's our job and we enjoy it. He smiled as they dispelled. It was time for some payback. It would take half hour to reach Zabuza's little hideaway and then he had to check for guards and eliminate them before he could proceed. He stopped and sent out 5 cage bushin using his unique henges birds and rats to scout around the building and inside it if need be. He was sure Gato wouldn't leave Zabuza unattended since he was paying for his services, and he was right. There were 3 guards. 1 on the roof and 2 at the door. The number seemed awfully low to him, but if he had to guess he would say that Gato didn't want to waste manpower on a missing nin. Sending hand signals to the clones to eliminate the target quietly, they did so. The one on the roof got a kunai covered in Raiten chakra to the skull, whilst the 2 at the door both had their necks snapped. Those weren't his first kills. No Itachi called a favor in with the Hokage when he was younger and had Naruto kill a prisoner that was due to be executed to get over the first kill issue, but that didn't mean he had to like it. He sighed. Before the night was out his hands were going to be covered in blood. Naruto covered his eyes in a powerful genjutsu whilst activating his Sharingan. One of them may get away. There was no need to have rumors spread about a Sharingan wielder with blonde hair. Dropping from the roof to the floor, he just stood there. They didn't even notice him. Zabuza, he said in nothing more than a whisper. Zabuza, he said a bit louder this time. Zabuza turned his head. Zabuza, he shouted. This defiantly got his attention. Who are you, Gaki, and where are you? I am Naruto Uzumaki. You hurt someone close to me, so I'm going to kill you, but not before extending the same pleasure to you, Zabuza. What do you mean? The woman you hurt to get to the bridge builder. Kurenai Yuhi. I care for her and you hurt her. So you think you can just come in here and kill me, do you? He said, looking around, hoping to find this mystery voice. Yes. He heard in nothing more than a whisper in his ear. He turned to see nothing there. He turned again to see a chair with his adoptive son tied to it. This hunter Nin is important to you, isn't he? I can see it on your face, Zabuza Momomaiki, demon of the mist. Not at all, Gaki. Do what you want. I plan to. He said before stabbing Haku in the leg with a kunai. No, Zabuza shouted. I thought he wasn't important to you, Zabuza. I lied. Obviously. You are going to die today, Zabuza, but the question is, will your adoptive son die with you, or will he run from me and spread the word about me? Naruto said, dispelling the genjutsu he had on Zabuza to show he was alone in the room. I will not die today, brat. I will find you and kill you. Will you now? Come outside, let me see what kind of demon you are. Without a second thought, Zabuza ran outside with hide sword on his back. Outside in the clearing was Haku tied and gagged to a tree, with Naruto standing calmly with both chakra sabers drawn blazing red. This is the real Haku. He was easy to defeat. Now before we start, I have a question, Zabuza. How does it feel to be a chick? What? He looked down and saw he had high C-cup breasts and his voice was slightly higher than normal. I hate Genjutsu. You mad bro? Dispelling the Genjutsu, Naruto got into stance. This is the first time these sabers have been used outside training. Give me a good fight. Immediately Zabuza went through hand signs. Kirigako no Jutsu. A thick mist rolled in around the fighters, or so Zabuza thought. He didn't know that he was still in a Genjutsu that reacted to his jutsu. A Sharingan Genjutsu that Naruto came up with in his spare time. If he knew what the jutsu did and what its name was, then the user supplied the hand seals, thus making them think they are fighting for real when they aren't. Zabuza, I said a good fight, he said before blowing a stream of condensed wind at the fog, clearing it away from the field. They clashed blades and Naruto had to admit, Zabuza was strong and had an advantage due to height. The clash of the Kenjutsu blades was going on for about 5 minutes and Naruto was starting to lose due to speed. He wasn't going to have that, so he dropped his weights down to 30 kilograms and left his resistance seals intact. Using the newfound speed boost from his weights, Naruto rushed Zabuza and nicked the back of his kneecaps, forcing him to the ground by cutting the tendons, and he held both his chakra sabers glowing red with his anger at his neck before looking at Haku. Watch him die and then feel the pain I felt when you tried to hurt someone precious to me. With that he slit his throat and Haku tried to scream but couldn't, and then it was all over. They were back standing where they began and Zabuza was panting and looking at a smirking Naruto. What the fuck was that? Genjutsu. So you aren't good in nin, tai or kenjutsu. I take offense to that. Of course I am moron. The skills I displayed in the genjutsu were relative to my skills. I tire of this fighting. You bore me, demon of the mist. Allow me to show you a real demon. His eyes turned into his Mangekyo Sharingan under the Genjutsu before locking eyes with Zabuza. Tsukuyomi, he declared. Before Zabuza knew it, he was tied to a post with his arms stretched out and he couldn't move or break free. Welcome to my world, Zabuza Momomaiki. In this world I am God. I control everything. You will be here for 72 hours being tortured by a friend of mine. He looked behind him to see his tenant and friend, the nine-tailed demon fox which attacked the Leaf Village. Hikari, knock yourself out, but make sure he's dead by the end. Oh Naruto, you know how to treat a girl. I try. The Genjutsu broke and Zabuza screamed whilst Naruto dropped his Genjutsu over his eyes to show his normal blue eyes, except his right eye was bleeding profusely. Zabuza fell to the floor in a coma due to pain overload. He looked at Haku. You will live, you will spread the word that Konoha is protected and no one messes with my friends, he said before walking over to Zabuza and taking his own sword to cut off his head, ending his life. Haku was crying at the sight. It was the second time his family was taken away. Naruto felt bad for him, he really did. Sealing Zabuza's head in a scroll, he walked over to Haku and stabbed his sword into the ground and placed a sealing scroll beside it. Haku looked confused. You saw that man as a father, did you not? He nodded. Then take his sword and head to Kiri and fight for the Bloodline rebels. I don't need his sword, and from what I understand from the bingo book that I read, he only left Kiri because he tried to kill the Mizukage who started the Bloodline purge. Naruto pulled down the gag and apologized for his loss before walking off and hearing Haku shout, "Aren't you going to untie me?" He laughed and Haku was confused why until he reappeared. "You won't be coming to seek me out, Haku. I will defend my precious person, and that is the reason yours died, unfortunately, because he injured mine, and as to freeing you, you've been free for the last half hour," he said whilst dispelling the Genjutsu and himself with it. He cursed. That boy was good with Genjutsu, and from what he said he excelled in Nin, Tai and Kenjutsu as well. He would be sure to spread the word about the boy who used red chakra sabers and killed Zabuza Momomaiki, the demon of the mist, if only to cause the boy issues in the future. He would be remembered as Konoha's Red Devil. Naruto was already well away from this Haku character that was with Zabuza in case he decided to try and attack him when he was slightly weakened from using his Mangekyo. He waited for 20 minutes to calm down a bit from the fight he just had. The Tsukuyomi takes a shit ton of chakra even for him. He checked his levels and found that he was down to 3/4 after that little Genjutsu of his. His eyes stopped bleeding and he popped a soldier pill to get his levels back up. He originally liked the idea of running in with Susanoo and see how they dealt with that, but came up with a better idea. He was a one-man army after all, so why not put it to use? He created 50 high explosive clones and they each had high Chunin level chakra, enough to blow everything to Kingdom Come and back. He told them to henge into various small animals and bugs and infiltrate the camp, but not the main building. He would take that himself. After 30 minutes more of waiting and his chakra levels sufficiently restored after he created his little army, which took a lot of chakra considering one explosive bushin is worth 5 normal cage bushin, he used his Anbu level stealth to sneak into the mansion, missing all the guards including the ones on the roof. He killed the 2 outside Gato's office quickly and quietly. He Sparta-kicked Gato's door and found him sitting at his desk trying to rape a young woman. She couldn't be over 14, and I say trying because he is too small to reach her when she bent over. Enha Gato is a midget. Gato looked over to the door and found a man covered in blood, but none of his guards screamed, so it couldn't have been him. It must have been his earlier fight with Zabuza, Naruto mused. "Oh Gato, I'm about to kill everyone here except your little slaves and take them back to wave to their families. Now you have a chance to live if you do 2 things. He said in a sweet voice that promised pain. "And what are they, Nin-san?" he asked, scared for his life. 1. You will sign over your company to Konoha, where it will be passed down to the respective cage at the time, and 2. I'm going to raid your vault for stuff because I can. Deal. He shouted rather quickly, already drawing up the paperwork. It seemed this worm knew when he was either beat or when to save his life. The woman that he was trying to rape hugged him closely and he just told her to get dressed and wait outside. He explained that the guards were dead, so it was fine. After signing the paperwork, his eyes shifted again. "Amaterasu," he said as black flames consumed Gato's body. He walked away muttering, "I said you had a chance, that didn't mean you would." Naruto walked downstairs towards the vaults whilst clutching his left eye. It was bleeding profusely due to the Mangekyo. Just as it stopped, he arrived at the vaults. He killed the 2 guards and walked into the vaults. Gato was nice enough to give him the combination before he died. The walls were lined with scrolls from different villages, rare jutsu that he couldn't use due to not being a ninja but kept for sales purposes. Different elements, Raiten, Suton, Doton, Kaiten and Futon. There were even a few Mokuton which surprised him. He came to the conclusion that someone stole them from the Senju clan, their loss his gain. He filled a spare storage scroll he had with about 700,000 ryo that was laying in the vault before filling another with the rest. He would have the 700,000 one whilst the village would have the other one that had millions of ryo. The woman led him to the slave rooms. Some men were violating the woman and this made him mad, so he killed them quickly and painlessly. When done, he stood in front of them and said, "All right, listen, I am Naruto Uzumaki, a ninja of Konoha. Outside this mansion are about 300 thugs and bandits and they are about to die. Then I'm taking you back to Wave so you can go home. I will hand a scroll with money from Gato's vaults to the daimyo to help rebuild Wave," he said before creating a clone and dispelling it to let the other clones know it was time to detonate. Blast upon blast was heard outside of the mansion and screams could be heard. He turned to the woman. "It's alright, they were my explosive clones. I left to go boom and kill the bandits," he said, calming some of the woman down. The explosions died down and Naruto walked out with the woman behind him into what could only be described as a war zone. There were bodies everywhere, some in pieces and some not, some were alive but not for long. The woman hurried up behind the man who calmly walked through the carnage. He turned and told them to get behind him, and when they did he said, "What I'm about to do is going to take a lot out of me, so I will need help walking back to Wave if you don't mind." They all nodded. It was the least they could do for this man who saved them. Naruto smiled and turned to face the mansion with all the bodies in front of it. He closed his eyes and formed the ram seal to gather his chakra before opening his left eye and shouting, "Amaterasu." Black flames sprouted from his eyes, covering the mansion and the courtyard in them before they burnt to leave nothing left. He opened his right eye to reveal his Mangekyo, and the flames immediately died down, showing no signs that they were ever there except ash on the ground. Naruto stumbled back a bit, holding both eyes, and grunted. "These Mangekyo techniques hurt like a bitch. I hope when I get the Eternal that they don't bleed like this." The woman he saved earlier from being raped by Gato caught him and smiled at him. "Arigato." She nodded and started walking with his arm over her shoulder, providing support towards Wave. Halfway there he decided to pop another soldier pill. He knew this was dangerous, but if any of Gato's men were still around then he would need to protect the women. He heard Hikari agree. "I will take care of your body when you sleep, but you will be out for about 3 days. What needs done needs done." Walking into town he could see that people were walking around. It was about 7 in the morning at the moment and he had been up all night. He needed rest. Cheering was immediate and they all said it was thanks to Naruto. He sighed and thanked God that he had enough chakra for a shunshin to Tazuna's. As soon as he reappeared at Tazuna's front door he fell to a knee and began breathing heavily before coughing up a little bit of blood. He wasn't surprised, it was part of the Mangekyo issue that was soon to be solved. He banged on the door twice before he heard footsteps from inside the house. Sakura answered before seeing Naruto and screamed. He inwardly cursed her banshee-ness. Everyone came running to see Naruto on his knees breathing heavily except Kurenai, who was still asleep due to chakra exhaustion. "Naruto, what the hell, you were meant to scout," said Kakashi. "Would you believe me if I said Zabuza caught me?" he asked pleadingly. The genin seemed to accept this, but Kakashi frowned. "Fuck no, I sent you because I knew you wouldn't be caught." "Fine, I killed Zabuza, went to Gato's mansion, killed him, freed the slaves, killed 300 bandits before burning his mansion to the ground and using too much chakra, so can one of you carry me up to bed?" he asked whilst throwing 2 scrolls at Kakashi. One contains Zabuza's head. His apprentice, adoptive son, got away, but I think he got the message, and the other contains funds for the Wave Daimyo to rebuild Wave, not to mention the paperwork stating that Gato signed over Gato Industries to Konoha and the respective cage at the time. "Now someone take me to bed, I'm about to collapse." And with that he closed his eyes and fell face first. No one said anything before Kakashi picked him up and took him to one of the spare bedrooms and let him sleep. It would be 3.5 days until he awoke again. Asterisk magic ninja time skip. 3.5 days later asterisk asterisk. Naruto rolled over in his sleep whilst he grunted. He was half awake and felt pain everywhere. He decided to ask Hikari what happened. "You collapsed after using 98.2% of your chakra, which is a lot for you. I'm guessing your eyesight is worse and you have about 40% chakra back from before. Good news though is that your reserves have grown by about 5%, which is also a lot for you. Must be the constant use of the Mangekyo from last night strengthening the coils behind your eyes. Anything happen whilst I was out?" "No idea. I was asleep as well. It took quite a bit of chakra to heal you after the soldier pill trick you did. Sorry Hikari-chan, you know I don't like forcing you to work on my body." "I know, but it needed doing, so wake the fuck up and go see the Cyclops." Naruto did just that and opened his eyes to find he was alone in his room. Bursting for a piss after 3 days of sleep, he hobbled to the bathroom and opened it before relieving himself. Walking downstairs he found it was oddly quiet and found no one in the house. Weird, where is Kakashi, Imo and Banshee? He thought to himself. He walked outside and found his eyesight had diminished greatly. He didn't notice yet because he had no need to see far away. He sighed. This was going to be problematic until he got the transplant. Activating his Sharingan under Genjutsu, he found he could see normally and not more advanced like when he used to use the Sharingan. He sighed again and looked for any chakra usage. He found the teams in a clearing about half a mile away from Tazuna's house doing tree climbing. They were all taking a break at the moment, with Kurenai and Kakashi watching them since they didn't really have to guard the bridge anymore. Naruto hobbled over using the tree to help him stand. He looked up and everyone was staring at him. "Sup?" Kurenai was first to talk. Don't sup me young man, when we get home I'm telling your mother. Naruto paled, anything but that he hated when she was mad, she was a kind woman until you pissed her off. Anything but that Kurenai-sama. He begged. She smirked and gave him a hug and whispered into his ear, thank you for what you did. No problem Kurenai-chan, you know I would tear a city apart for you if need be, he whispered back and she nodded. Parting ways the others looked at him and Kakashi asked what happened when he went scouting. I was kind of angry about something and Zabuza was a good stress reliever. I sent my summons to find him and Gato whilst I meditated. They found him, I killed the guards and tied up his adoptive son and made him watch whilst I fought Zabuza and killed him multiple times. I say multiple times because I made him think he died in Genjutsu like 3 times before I got bored and killed him for real. The adoptive son was the hunter nin you guys saw. I think he was 15 and from what I could tell by watching him he used Hyoten, so I placed Zabuza's sword in front of him and left after telling him to spread a certain message, then he went off to fight in the bloodline purges of Kiri. They all nodded dumbly whilst a certain emo was scheming to get Naruto's power for his own. Then I went to Gato's and made 100 explosive cage bushin and snuck them in via Henjin to the camp, at which point they just stayed doing nothing. I popped a soldier pill to refill my reserves and infiltrated Gato's office, at which point I saw him attempting to rape a 14-year-old woman. I say attempting because he was a midget and couldn't reach her. I forced Gato to sign over Gato Industries to the residing Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village and it will never be in the council hands so they can't steal from the company. I then raided the vaults and maybe stole all his rare jutsu that he had and stored them in a blood storage seal. He said, not really wanting them, or rather Sasuke and Sakura, to hear the end of the last bit. I set off my clones and took the woman outside past the carnage, where then I used a certain Kaiten jutsu to burn all the bandits and the mansion all to the ground in seconds, at which point I practically fell over due to chakra exhaustion. I popped another pill, which I realized was a stupid ass thing to do, but I needed it in case I needed to protect the woman from any of Gato's thugs. We got to town around 7 in the morning and the people cheered for me and I ran away with Shunshin and fell to my knees at the front door when someone screamed like a banshee and you all appeared. He finished. Sasuke was annoyed that he couldn't have Naruto's scrolls, Sakura was scared of Naruto, Kiba was annoyed that he couldn't prove himself to be the alpha male to Hinata, Shino was Shino and Hinata was surprised the boy she loved could kill so many without blinking. Kurenai and Kakashi looked on in pride. Oh wait 1 second, he said and walked over to a tree before heaving his stomach contents onto the ground, and Sakura screamed that he was being disgusting. Well, you try killing 300 people in one night and not be sick. He snarled at her. They continued to train after lunch and Naruto went back to sleep to regain what strength he had lost. 2 weeks later the bridge was finished and they named it, the Great Naruto Bridge. Which Naruto actually disagreed with the name, but everyone told him to shut up because he was being modest. Naruto remembered his talk with Kurenai after he was healed, explaining what really happened. Flashback Kurenai was in the forest at night by a small lake watching the moon and Naruto was out walking for some air. He was still trying to get over what had happened and was slightly angry with himself for taking so many lives, but he remembered what his brother once said that their mother had told him after a similar mission where Itachi had to slaughter hundreds of bandits at a young age by himself. He said, kill 1, save 1,000, the bandits we kill are nothing but thieves and liars that do nothing to help those around them. They are selfish and deserve death for what they do to their prisoners. Naruto actually agreed. Walking into a clearing, Naruto saw Kurenai and stared at her. The moon was shining just right that it illuminated her and made her look beautiful. He couldn't help it, he gasped. You can come out now, Naruto. Naruto slowly walked out of the trees and sat beside her. She was still staring up at the moon. What are you doing out here by yourself, Naruto? I was trying to clear my head. I killed so many people recently and I feel rather guilty, even though they deserved it for what they did. Why did they deserve it? I saw you laying there, Kurenai-chan. You were asleep with a big cut right across your stomach from Zabuza's sword. I was mad to begin with when we entered the Hokage's office only to be given this mission due to what had happened, but when I saw you I snapped. I demanded from Kakashi to go scouting, to which he agreed once I pointed out that I can get in and out without being seen, and hunted Zabuza down. He was getting ready to attack the bridge builder in the morning and I was angry. I led him outside with a genjutsu to provoke him and shown him that I already caught his little hunter nin. I immediately placed him in a genjutsu that I made which made the opponent think they are fighting when they aren't. I killed him in it and then he fell to the ground panting with the genjutsu at an end. I repeatedly beat him and shown him how weak he was and explained that if he hadn't hurt someone I consider precious then he might have lived. I got annoyed that he wasn't even sorry and used my mangekyo on him. I had Kyubi torture him for 72 hours in Tsukuyomi, at which point he fell into a coma from pain overload and I chopped off his head with his own sword. I burnt Gato to a crisp with Amaterasu and then burnt his whole mansion and the bodies with it again. My eyesight is greatly diminished and will continue to do so until I get the transplant, but it was worth it. I would do anything as long as it meant the people I care for are safe. He finished whilst looking up at the moon. He turned to look at her and gazed into her crimson red eyes and she slowly leaned forward to give him a gentle kiss on the lips. It was a passionate kiss, not the hungry type of kiss, and it lasted for 30 seconds before she stopped. Arigato Naruto-kun, she said before she got up and walked away. He smiled. It was worth it as long as she was safe, as long as she didn't view him as a monster for what he done he could cope. Asterisk flashback end asterisk asterisk. They arrived at the village, signed in from the mission and started to walk towards the Hokage's office but noticed that people weren't glaring at Naruto as much. In fact, some were actually looking at him with looks of respect. He looked at Kakashi and asked quietly, "Does it look like less people are glaring than usual?" He nodded. "I wonder what happened. We will find out later." Arriving at the Hokage's office, they all walked in and began to give the mission report as standard. Kurenai just finished hers up to the point that Kakashi arrived and started to explain his. Kakashi explained what happened during Naruto's scouting expedition and he sighed. He looked over to Naruto and watched in amazement as Naruto was looking so innocent that he couldn't stay mad at him. Damn puppy eyes, no jutsu shouldn't work for a 13-year-old. I'm labeling that a kinjutsu. If it gets out, everyone is going to use it. It came to the end of the report and everyone left except the Jonin and Naruto. Naruto threw a scroll to the Hokage and he looked at it before asking what it was. "That is Zabuza's head for bounty collection and the deed to Gato Industry that I made him sign over before I may or may not have killed him." He smiled innocently at the Hokage who just sighed. "Will you be happy when I die of stress due to headaches caused by you, Naruto? This is going to take so much goddamn paperwork." Naruto smiled and tossed another scroll. "Read that when we get out of this meeting and are out of the tower. Also, you wouldn't happen to know why villagers don't seem to glare openly anymore, do you? In face, some seem to respect me in some small minuet way. Well, it seems you're famous. How so?" He tossed Naruto a book and told him to turn to page 113 and read it out loud. Name: Naruto Uzumaki. Alias: Konoha's Redo Kiba, Red Fang. Rank: Village: Konoha. Description: blue eyes, blonde hair, 5 feet 6, 3 whisker marks on each cheek, well built with black Anbu cargo trousers, orange hoodie with no shirt and a necklace with crystals on it. Skills: Genjutsu, Sanin level. Taijutsu, Kenjutsu, low Jonin level, red chakra sabers. Ninjutsu. Speed. Message: don't attack directly, don't attack loved ones or he will hunt you to the end of the earth with no remorse for who dies including your family. Wanted by Iwa. Dead or alive 20 million Ryo. Kiri. Dead or alive 25 million Ryo. Naruto smiles. Look like Haku took my warning to heart, and walked away only to hear banging as he walked out of the room. Apparently the old man read his second scroll early. It was how to defeat paperwork. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.